persistence in pursuing your walk with MMA will change your life.
Let's go, Meat Boys. Kicking off UFC Vegas 70. We got kind of a low-key banger in this one. We got Carl Deaton III, a.k.a. Anisha Nabi, taking on Joe Solecki, a.k.a. Average. And what can you say about Joe? I mean, this is a guy who's 4-1 in the UFC. He's a massive favorite in this one, right? Minus 520. And I guess it makes sense. He did look pretty nice most recently against Alex da Silva. He picked up that majority decision, and he is 4-1 in the UFC with the only loss coming as a split decision to Jared Flash Gordon. And one thing about Joe Solecki is, like, he's never going to wow you with what he brings to the table, right? It's pretty methodical. He's trying to get you down. When he does get you down, he has great top pressure and is definitely one of those guys who isn't really looking to finish you. He's more than comfortable with just keeping you on the ground and banking round time and winning rounds in order to ultimately win fights, which at 12-3 overall, he has a penchant for doing so. But in this one against Anisha Nabi, Carl Deaton III is riding a nice 2-fight win streak. He did take out Justin James, a.k.a. the Guitar Hero, and granted, the Guitar Hero had lost like 10 straight, but he did look good in that fight, and he also beat Antoine Blasingame after that, and that was an easy work, rear naked choke finish, and what essentially earned him this opportunity in the UFC to debut against Solecki, and he's plus 410 in this one. His record isn't that great, right? And he does have some questionable losses. I mean, he did lose to Jonas Flock and also lost to Reggie Harris Jr., but he's got those nice wins over Nathan Williams and Star Roberts Jr. So some really great stuff from Carl Deaton III, a.k.a. Anisha Nabi. Are you rolling with Anisha Nabi in this one? Do you think at plus 410 this is juicy beef and perhaps as a dog he decides to capitalize against Average Joe, or does Average do what he usually does and just grind out a ugly decision? Who are you taking?
Yeah, no, this is an excellent fight, and to be honest, I gotta go with Average Joe. You know, I've seen videos, he's at the gym all the time, just getting really shredded, and it makes sense why he's a heavy favorite. So Average Joe's gym's gotta go with him. And Carl, I don't know, I haven't been too impressed, and neither has the odds makers. So I'm kind of on board with this. It makes sense. You know, the submission wouldn't surprise me, but I'm feeling a TKO ground and pound, to be honest. But yeah, this should be a fun fight though to start it off.
Yeah, if he is able to get that finish, I think that is something that Joe really needs, right? Because it doesn't seem like he's been doing himself many favors with all these decision victories. And I got to imagine that if he's able to get a quick, easy, early work finish, then the UFC will have much more incentive to put him in greater spot opportunities. I mean, he's buried on the prelims against Carl Deaton III, so kind of suggests where perhaps they think Joe Solecki is at this point of his career, but you would love to see him back in there against some tougher competition because this guy, we can't forget, I mean, he beat Jim Miller and he looked pretty great in that fight and also has those wins over Austin Thud Hubbard and Matt Wyman as well. So some decent wins for Joe Solecki. You just want to see him get some finishes if possible. So perhaps a TKO, to your point, is in the works for Joe Solecki. If we look at Tapology, 96% is rolling with Average. Most is by Copper, though. They do like that sub, and that makes sense, right? Joe Solecki is a BJJ black belt. So that's definitely his bread and butter, so perhaps that's where he does get a finish in this one. A little bit of beige for the decision as well, and then only some a decent sliver of brown for the KO. So you'll probably be getting some juicy numbers for that KO TKO for Solecki, so maybe worth inspecting there. But I'm with you all the way. I'm taking Joe in this one. I like him to probably win a decision, but I hope he's able to get a finish because if he does, then I'd be curious to see what happens next. And 4% is rolling with Carl Deaton III. That is his friends and family, and it's basically half and half. Some say KO, some say decision, but I'd be pretty shocked if Anisha Nabi is able to get this victory over Joe Solecki. But any last thoughts? I like Joe by decision.
Yeah, I think Joe by decision is the play. But yeah, throw in the comments who you taking. You taking Joey or you taking Carl?